Welcome into HQ. We are one sleep away from the NFL playoffs kicking off. It's a sports investor's dream weekend. All the high-stakes ball on tap, but we want to make sure that you're making smart investments. So with that, of course, we got to welcome on our Sportsline analyst, Mackenzie Brooks, to help us out with this weekend of games.
I love that you're calling me like a financial advisor. That is exactly what I am.
I think that's very fair. I'm sorry, not Sportsline analyst, financial advisor.
Thank you.
Mackenzie Brooks.
I hope my dad's watching and hears that. That's what I am, Dad, a financial advisor. Thanks.
Exactly. What every dad wants their little girl to grow up and be. All right, let's start with this first game. We got the Chargers on the road, the AFC South champ Texans. Chargers are the favorite here, but you've got an eye on that total.
I do. It's definitely an interesting situation when you're seeing the higher seed at home and they're underdogs. It tells you everything you really need to know about this Houston team right now. But I'm actually going to go to the full game over here. I think over 42.5 points is a great play. We make it closer to 50 points in this game. Both defenses have, they have statistically, quote unquote, great defenses. But look at the actual playoff caliber teams. I don't even have to say caliber. They're literally playoff teams at this point. Like, they allow points to them. You look at Houston. 31 points to Baltimore, 27 to Kansas City. You can say the same for this Chargers defense, allowed 40 points to Tampa Bay. So when it comes to actual playoff defenses, we're seeing a very different situation as far as the offenses here. You talk about C.J. Stroud obviously regressing a little bit. The passing touchdowns are still there. It's just coming with a couple interceptions on the way too. So that's great for short field advantages and overs in general as well. And as for the Chargers, J.K. Dobbins being back and healthy is so impactful for this team, more than you would think it is, but they have such a beautiful balance now of a rushing game and a passing game, and they're really a well-oiled machine, especially looking at the last 3 games of the regular season.
All right, telling us that there are going to be some points in this first playoff game on CBS. That's all I hear. That's what I'm excited for as a watcher. Elsewhere in the AFC, we have Steelers and Ravens. I think this is the largest point spread at 9.5, but you have a gross. Okay, so she doesn't like that.
I don't want to be involved. Divisional games, listen, those are big spreads for divisional games, and I understand why the spread is what it is. It's just not something I'm personally interested in. I'm looking at 2 different players here that you can cash on to score a touchdown. If either of them win, you profit. Looking at both tight ends for the Ravens here in Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. Now, historically, when the Steelers play Baltimore, their game plan is stop Lamar on the ground and stop Mark Andrews. Now, clearly, that did not necessarily work the last time out, so I don't think they'll be able to give Mark Andrews the same amount of attention they typically do. But between the 2 of them and Zay Flowers being out, your options are your 2 tight ends and Bateman. And the Steelers, if there are qualms to their defense, it is against 2 tight end sets. So again, it's really hard for me to believe that at least one of them won't get in the end zone. The defense simply will not be able to give all their attention to both of these guys. Mark Andrews in a phenomenal, heater right now as far as touchdown production. This is probably the best stretch of his career. So you get him at a good price, but then you get Isaiah Likely as well at a good buy low spot. So between the 2 of them, very confident one of them ends up in the end zone.
All right. Elsewhere in large spreads in the AFC, we have the Bills, a 8.5-point favorite, hosting the Broncos, but you like a team total in this one.
Again, another one where it's like, oh, what do you do with the rookie quarterback and stuff? Here's what I do know. I do know that Buffalo can score points in bad weather. They've proven it to us before, and I do know that they're an absolute juggernaut at home, averaging 34 points per game. So I think 28.5 as a team total is just a little low for them. Now, I know this Broncos defense can be intimidating, not very intimidating on the road. Like, they allow almost 7 more points per game on the road. The sacks aren't there as much. The pass rush, it just isn't there as well. So again, getting Josh Allen in Buffalo, I do think we have a rookie quarterback on the road going to Bills Mafia for his first time in a playoff environment. Could see a lot of 3-and-out situations. Just see Buffalo having the ball on offense a lot more here. And 28.5 just feels a little low.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that. That feels high to me, but low for this game in particular. Yeah, the Bills 4-0 in the wild card round since 2020, so tough spot for a rookie to be walking into his first postseason game. We gave you a lot of AFC plays. Let's give you one in the NFC. We have Packers and Eagles. You like a play on a player here.
Oh, yeah. My very own Mr. Saquon Barkley for the Philadelphia Eagles. I like him to go over his rushing and receiving prop here. Again, I want to add those receiving yards because it's also a buy low spot for him. He definitely definitely has the capability. The upside of the receiving yards are there. He's put up phenomenal numbers in the receiving yard category earlier this season. Now with Jalen Hurts, obviously he would be playing, but you could see him probably being hesitant to use his own feet. Maybe we'll see some more volume for Saquon, less volume for Jalen Hurts on the ground. So that's also why I like the volume play for Saquon Barkley here. I think his upside is, 25 carries, honestly, in this game. So I like rushing and receiving because he does pose that receiving threat we haven't seen yet, and I think they pull it out in the playoffs.
Yeah, everybody's worried about the rust with the quarterback and Jalen Hurts, so why not just hand it off to your running back?
He's a pretty good safe bet.
I think so. So far, it's been a very safe bet this season. That is your financial advisor, Mackenzie Brooks. So with all the great information here, let's recap some of those picks. You heard those first four, her plays there, but the last two, yeah, we got some bonus picks that we did not talk about with Commanders, Bucks, and Vikings, Rams. So bet accordingly. This is Jonathan Jones' report. This was, of course, during his recovery from an October Achilles surgery. Once again, ruptured it again. He had surgery to repair that one, and we are not sure what is next for Deshaun Watson and the Browns. We know what's next here, though. We bring on Jonathan Jones to discuss more of this news. Just first off, what are you hearing about Watson?
Yeah, it's a very, very unfortunate setback here for Deshaun Watson. We heard from Andrew Berry a few days ago, who said that Deshaun Watson had suffered a setback in his recovery from that October Achilles surgery, but he didn't really offer any other details. And now, of course, we learned that it was another rupture, which it does happen sometimes. I know we don't really hear about it all that often, but the Achilles is such a tendon that can be vulnerable to such a thing. It is unclear how this took place, stepping off the bed during, some sort of rehab. I don't know, but ultimately, and certainly the most important thing here is that this resets the clock for Deshaun Watson. That if you're talking about what an average recovery time is for one Achilles surgery, it's somewhere in that 7 to 8 month range. We've seen guys come back from it as quickly as 4.5 or 5 months, but those are very, very rare cases. A lot of times what you see is guys not really getting back to 100% full health for another year, right? About 12 months or so. So it can go anywhere in between there, but the sort of safe estimation is 7 or 8 months. Well, here we are right now in January, and you add that on to this year, you don't know if Deshaun is going to be able to play at all in 2025. This now certainly confirms that he will not be available for week 1 for much, if any, of training camp. And so, again, a very unfortunate setback for Deshaun Watson and a very consequential year for him and the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, we've seen quarterbacks struggle to come back from one Achilles injury. I can't imagine how challenging it is for two. That's the medical side of things. Contractually, though, he, of course, reworked that historic contract he signed back in 2022 earlier this year. So does it have any sort of injury clause for all of that guaranteed money? How does that affect this?
Yeah, that's a great question. And actually, the Browns, when they signed Deshaun Watson, took out a very hefty insurance policy. I don't want to bore the viewers, but I want to sort of explain that the insurance policy will allow the Browns, if he does not play a down of football in 2025, if he cannot recover to play for the Cleveland Browns in the regular season in 2025 or the postseason, the Browns would be able to recoup about $44 million or so in salary cap space in 2026. Deshaun Watson's still going to be paid his contract. He is still due about $92 million in guaranteed money. That money will be paid on time. That is not changing for when his direct deposits hit. But for the Browns, if he's unable to play in 2025 because of the insurance policy they took out on Deshaun Watson a while ago, they would be able to get some salary cap relief in 2026. Now, we're still far away from 26. We're here in 2025 and preparing for the season. That contract restructure that you mentioned just a bit ago, what that is able and what that is sort of helping the Browns do is spread out his cap hits over the next couple of years. And so that will allow the Browns to stay competitive in 2025 by re-signing some of their own players, potentially signing some free agents, making Myles Garrett and Joel Bitonio, two veterans who had voiced concerns about the direction of the franchise. Well, hey guys, don't worry. We have some cap space. We're going to be able to be competitive in 2025. It also allows for the Browns to get out of Deshaun Watson's contract a little bit easier after the 2025 season. Again,
so pleased to have you along. This should be a good one. We're set, and off we go here on EA Sports. On the return, here comes Cordero Patterson. And they'll bring him down just shy of the 30-yard line. So they come to the line for first down and 10. Now a first carry for the Alabama product, Najee Harris. And he's going to be brought down up past the 45. On first down, right back to Harris. And he'll get forward for a couple. It's second down. They'll give it to Harris again. And they're going to work this down inside the 45. Another run here with Harris. And he'll work forward for about 3. It's second down. They're going to run out of the gun, and here's Harris. He'll pop this ahead for about 4, but it will set up third down. Out of the gun, here's Russ. That is caught! And he will get into the end zone. Calvin Austin. Touchdown, Steelers. Chris Boswell on for the point after. It's up and good. And the Steelers will take a 7-0 lead. Boswell now following the touchdown. Back out to kick this one off. This kick is fielded in the end zone, but no move to bring it out. It's touchback, and that ball will come out to the 30-yard line. Right to the air goes Daniels. They try to set up the screen, but this one doomed from the start. It's incomplete. They'll try again here, second and 10. Operating from the gun, it's Daniels. And that's going to be incomplete. Coverage was good that time. The contact jarring the ball loose and forcing third down. Luke McCaffrey, the intended receiver. Now it's going to be third down. From the shotgun on third down, Daniels. 15-yard pickup there. First down, Washington.
And this is what you can do when you have one of the best receivers in the game. You understand that even if the coverage is not perfect for the play call, sometimes it's just as simple as my guy is better than your guy, and we're going to just keep giving him a chance.
Off he goes.
Now on third and forever, he'll look to throw. Slings this deep from McLaurin. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete.
Trying to get something positive to happen here before the break, and they sure need it. They went for the big one, but it winds up incomplete.
And likely time for one final play here in the half, so they will go for it on fourth down. A final shot before break. Daniels slings this deep from McLaurin. And got his man complete. He's to the 15. And he's in for the touchdown.
Because it is so simple. It's something that these two have done and thrown together for years and years. Maybe not to each other, but since Pop Warner. They've been running the go route. Just run right by him, and if you're even, you're leaving, and I'm going to drop it right over the top.
Now to throw. And the conversion is no good as that pass falls incomplete.
Going to be a little armchair quarterback after that call. Looked like the defense knew exactly what was coming.
Well, time making this all but impossible, but they're going to try for the onside kick here anyway. And this is going to be covered up by the Commanders. That should just about lock up the win. And Washington finishes the return to the end zone. Touchdown! The Commanders picked up the fumble and ran it home.
He gets it to go, and the Commanders will move out to a 14-7 lead. Seibert now following the touchdown. He's out to kick it away. And we'll see a return here from his own end zone. Not much on the return. They'll stop him at the 17. Boy, some bulk in the formation on that right side here for 1st and 10. A play fake. Now it's I fumbled the football. And the defense has it. And there it is. The defense comes up with the big...
Robinson will score. Touchdown, Commanders. So how about that for an answer? They get the touchdown there, and it's back to a one-score game here in the 4th.
And that's what these guys have done all game long because they've scratched and slashed their way to stay in this game. And by now, we should all realize they're not going away. Now the pressure again swings to their defense because they're going to need to find some way to get the ball back.
All right, now a big two-point conversion attempt still to come. Daniels going to try and throw for it. And it's intercepted at the goal line. Oh, no, he lost the football. And he will get into the end zone, and a two-point conversion will cut this down to a 6-point game.
Here's Eckler. And he's brought down for a loss. The Commanders in the hurry-up. They're hustling for the line. To throw. That's complete. Here's Brown. And they bring him down. Looks like he got it to the 27. Here he is to throw. Someone got a piece of that downfield throw, but it is caught anyway. And that's a Washington touchdown. So there's part one, Brock. They get the touchdown that they desperately needed. Now, you'd imagine, comes a try for two.
Yeah, and this might be just as tough as to go get that touchdown they just did because, well, they work on two-point conversions, but they're difficult.